Hello, good evening, and welcome to Business Live. Coming up, total value of Ghana's economy projected to hit $100 billion by the end of this year, pushing the country into higher middle income status.
By the end of 2025, which will be calculated next year by April, we stand a pole position to hit $100 billion for the first time in our history.
But how significant is this? We shall be discussing that with an economist shortly. Also in this bulletin, President John Mahama charges the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana to do everything to protect the current economic gains. We will be finding out how far the Bank of Ghana can go to sustain the current trend. Plus, some oil marketing companies commence price review at the pumps as market leader Star keeps petrol at 11 cedis, but diesel up by 12 cedis, 17 pesos per litre. We have details of this and more for you. Please stay on. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka. And looking at our stories, total value of Ghana's economy in monetary terms is projected to hit $100 billion by the end of this year. And this according to Director of Real Policy at the Ministry of Finance, Samuel Ackhurst. Speaking at the Deloitte Economic Dialogue here in Accra, Mr. Ackhurst hinted that the country will finish the year with a higher rate of per capita income and GDP rate, which will push the economy to higher middle income status. There is more for you in this report.
The Deloitte Economic Dialogue on the 2026 budget was themed Charting Ghana's Economic Path, Policies, Progress and Opportunities. The Director of Real Sector Division at the Ministry of Finance, Samuel Ackhurst, in defending the 2026 budget statement, assured that all the policy initiatives are geared towards growth of the economy. According to him, the country's economic indicators are pointing to the right direction, with gross domestic product likely to hit $100 billion.
Ghana's GDP in dollars was about 49 billion US dollars. Now, when you add that to our population of 30-something, you have a per capita income that at the same year was 1,756. Now, because we crossed 1,000, we became a middle income, but a lower middle income. Today, one of the key things on the economic performance in 2025 is pointing to the direction that Ghana, for the very first time, by the end of 2025, which will be calculated next year by April, we stand a pole position to hit $100 billion for the first time in our history. At the same time, it is possible that the per capita 10 years ago below $2,000, of course it's around $2,000 now, could hit above $3,000 also for the very first time, inching us away from the median to the higher level of the lower middle income.
Presenting the accounting firm's verdict on the budget, country managing partner Deloitte, Daniel Owusu, expressed optimism about the economic prospects of the country.
As we have seen, Ghana's economy has shown a level of optimism throughout 2025, following a period of micro-adjustment and reset. The implementation of the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program, together with domestic policy actions by the government, has begun to restore stability. And rebuild confidence.
Some civil society organizations and thought leaders also share their perspectives on the budget.
Look at the whole Gusitano 24-hour economy project. Fantastic thinking, but it's not 24-hour economy. It's a major what do you call economic development plan, which is okay. Call it what it is. But what is 24-hour economy about that? But there's 24-hour economy about our ports running 24 hours. The 24-hour economy about our courts begin to run 24 hours. So those things that we have bottlenecks. 24-hour economy, let's get it straight. It's not a policy intervention. It's a policy outcome of effective and sustained economic policies. Nobody needs to tell me, as a rice producer, to run 3 shifts if the demand and the supply of raw material is there. Are you the one going to tell me? Aren't the companies already running?
Reforms in the 2026 budget are expected to boost productivity and growth across all sectors of the economy.
Interesting revelation there. Let's broaden the conversation further and bring in economist Dr. Edu Sakodie for some perspective on this. Thank you so much, sir, for making time to join us here on Business Live. And Ghana's economy, we are learning, is projected to hit $100 billion by the end of this year, pushing the country into higher middle income status. How significant is this revelation by the Ministry of Finance?
Very significant, given the fact that our exchange rate is favorable to us now, so that when you convert our Cedi denominated GDP into dollars, it becomes favorable. Currently, we are hitting around $80 billion GDP. So by the close of the year, but he said that if it's calculated in April, and my understanding is that they may do the rebasing of GDP in April, so that when you do the rebasing, then you change the base year and you have a higher GDP. But whatever it is significant. Mind you, Ghana went into a lower middle income country in the year 2010, and since then, after 15 years, we've been wondering when we are going to start a conversation of pushing our country into an upper middle income status. And it's not beyond us. I mean, there are countries like Indonesia and El Salvador who entered into the upper middle bracket in just 2022. I said that Jordan also fell out from upper to lower. I mean, you need a simple threshold of $4,466 per capita GNI. So for you to get there, I mean, you need to, first of all, grow your GDP and make sure that your incomes are increasing. The incomes of Ghanaians abroad are increasing faster than incomes of foreigners in the country. You must also control the population, because we use per capita to assess the threshold. So you have to control the population, and you also have to have a very stable exchange rate, because you need to convert your Cedi-denominated GDP into dollars so that you can have a higher value. And so I think as a country, we should thrive and get closer, as he said. Maybe if you don't even achieve it by 2025, you may get there in 2026 or 2027 or 2028, or very close in the next 3 years, we should get there. But that is not the whole story.
All right.
A better appreciation of or a better measurement of your development, of any country's development, is a Human Development Index. Now, in the calculation of Human Development Index, you need 3 indicators. First is the income, the first one that we've mentioned, growing your GDP and divided by the population. The second is quality human capital, in this case measured by health and education. So to be an upper middle income, it comes with certain responsibilities. You must have quality education, it must come with quality healthcare, it must come with low poverty, it must come with good infrastructure, it must come with good road network, it must come with everything that, losing the congestions in our cities, making sure that things are far better so that it can demonstrate the status that we will achieve as an upper middle income country. It is not beyond us as a country. We can do it. I've demonstrated to you that countries like Indonesia and El Salvador are there. Ghana today, we have minerals in abundance, and we can leverage the minerals that we have, notably the gold that we have, to grow our economy, develop it, and hit that upper middle income mark that we all yearn for.
And as we look on leveraging on the positive side of that, what would you say are the major challenges facing Ghana's economy, and how can they be addressed, bearing in mind this very projection that has come through?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you read the IMF document or any development document, the key word that you see or phrase that you see is inclusive growth. Inclusive growth. In other words, you should grow your GDP in such a way that everybody is participating and everybody is benefiting, that nobody is left out. Because if you grow your GDP and it is only contributed by just 10% of the population, your GDP may be going higher, you may achieve a higher per capita income, but income distribution will be skewed. So we, as a country, we must pursue inclusive growth. How? We must go to the base. The base of our economy is agriculture and manufacturing. Today, our services sector is growing faster than agriculture and manufacturing. It is not bad, but the reason we are concerned is that you need certain specialized skills to be in the services sector, like being insurance, banking, like even the work you are doing is a service sector, the work I do, I'm in the service sector. You need to qualify to be a lecturer before you can be in the service sector. But you don't need any specialized skills, or you need low skills to be in agriculture. You need low skills to be in manufacturing, to be a mechanic. And so these two sectors must really grow faster than the service sector. Then we can pursue, or we can have a good appreciation of an inclusive growth. When we have an inclusive growth where inequality is reducing and income distribution is better, then we can have a very sound economy where the upper middle income status will not be far from us. And in that situation, it will come with better economic transformation. It will come with good infrastructure. It will come with good quality education and healthcare and lower poverty. Great. And we pray and we get there.
With that said, how will the government ensure that, well, growth is inclusive, like you're saying, and benefits all segments of the society largely?
Yeah, the economic theory in the past was talking about top-bottom approach, where grow the GDP, irrespective of whoever is growing it, and later we can think of income distribution. But now the narrative has changed. The new model is the bottom-up approach, where you put everybody you carry everybody along. So we talk about these social intervention programs, these development at the rural areas. So look at the rural economy. Number one should be on our list. Rural economy. How do we develop the rural economy? How do we develop the rural areas? And number two is quality of education in terms of access, in terms of quality. But I think Ghana is doing well. Number three is healthcare. If I'm sick, I'm a farmer, I'm sick, I should have equal access to healthcare as a lawyer. So when we have all these bottom-up approach indicators, I've mentioned that rural development, health, education, social intervention programs, making sure that poverty is being reduced, multidimensional poverty. We know the measurement of multidimensional poverty. They're talking about things like even toilet. Toilet comes in the calculation of multidimensional poverty. All right. Insurance, housing. So these are the very indicators that are used for a better calculation and for inclusive growth.
I'm grateful, Dr. Edu Ususakodia, for your time this very moment. Grateful speaking to us. Now, let's focus on one other story I also following up for you. President John Mahama is urging the Finance Ministry and the Bank of Ghana to take deliberate measures to safeguard recent economic gains and sustain the country's growth trajectory. Speaking at the International Currency Conference, President Mahama said recent economic gains, including ratings upgrade, shows the progress made must be sustained. Here's a report.
The Cedi at 60 International Currency Conference, President John Mahama emphasized that a dependable central bank helps create a predictable environment for investors and businesses, adding that Ghana cannot afford to return to policies that undermine monetary discipline.
That's why I give credit to our Finance Ministry and our central bank, the Bank of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an affirmation that our fundamentals are strengthening and that we're on a clear path of recovery. These gains must be protected, consolidated, and expanded through policy discipline and institutional coherence. A core principle of effective economic management is an independent, credible, and professionally insulated central bank. And so let me state unequivocally that the government of Ghana is firmly committed to safeguarding the independence of the Bank of Ghana. A strong and autonomous central bank is essential for anchoring inflation expectations for maintaining exchange rate stability, for enhancing investor and market confidence, and ensuring long-term policy credibility.
In a related development, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has maintained that Cedi stability is the responsibility of everyone, even though the central bank has to take a lead role.
Through all these moments, the Cedi has remained central to policy making, market sentiments, and of course, our daily lives in every corner of the Ghanaian society. So for 60 years, the Cedi has moved with our people. It has gone into markets. It has gone into small shops. The Cedi has gone onto farms. It has gone to trotro stations, and of course, in the quiet routines of daily life. It has helped our families to plan. It has helped businesses to grow, and it has helped communities to support one another. Each generation carries its own memory of the Cedi. So now, we must look ahead for the next 60 years in terms of what the Cedi holds.
The Cedi at 60 International Currency Conference brought together experts from across Africa to discuss currency resilience, central bank policy credibility, and the future of monetary integration on the continent.
We want to elevate the conversation further as well on this subject matter. Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amwa, joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for staying on to speak to us here on Business Live. Your thoughts about the President's call on the Finance Ministry and BOG to adopt stronger institutional coordination and discipline to safeguard the economic gains recorded so far? Aren't we seeing that already?
Thank you very much. We are seeing that, but then one will expect to see more going forward, because the performance of the Ghana Cedis, as we have witnessed this year, can at the moment be described as an outlier if you look at the performance of the Cedis over time in the past. So the president is looking at it more from the futuristic point of view, where the performance can be sustained, if not improved. So it is right if he hints on the fact that the Bank of Ghana and Ministry of Finance must coordinate, collaborate, and make sure that the performance that we are witnessing is not a 9-day wonder, but something that can be used to propel the growth of the economy to higher heights. Don't forget, it has come at a very high cost to the state. If you look at how much BOG has been supporting the economy with dollars, exporters now are having a good time, but then on the balance of it, importers are now having a good time because the Cedi is strong, but on the balance of it, exporters are having a tough time in terms of having to deal with the appreciation of the Ghana Cedi. So you want to have a delicate balance, that delicate balance where all players within the economy benefit from the strength of the Cedi. But for now, the president is right when he calls for the collaboration between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana.
And it's good you've brought in the concern about cost. Now, I know there's been worry in town about the sustainability of the current stability of the Cedi, issues about the cost, like you mentioned, with respect to how much the Bank of Ghana pumps into the system. Are these genuine concerns?
Yeah, they are. They are genuine concerns. But of course, you also want to ask, what is the role of BOG when it comes to the value of the Ghana Cedis? The role of BOG is to make sure that regularly the BOG will come onto the market to help support the Cedi as and when it is needed. So if the BOG or the economy itself has over time been able to build enough reserves, and we have been able to attain that optimal level of international reserves that we need to support the currency, any excess above that optimal value should be released onto the market. Look, we need to ask ourselves, are we not benefiting from the appreciation in the value of Ghana Cedis? The answer is yes. Compare price levels now to price levels in the past. If the economy has created value and a channel of distributing the value across the entire population is to strengthen the Ghana Cedi so that we all benefit, I see it as a fair way of distributing the value created through a stronger local currency, so that we all benefit because at least fuel prices have declined, inflation is down, which is a fair way of distributing the wealth created than to keep the reserves and not to intervene on the market. So if BOG has more available, why not supply the market with it so that the currency can, of course, appreciate. But we should not forget that exporters are also complaining.
All right.
Within this time is a time for us to pursue industrialization and commercialization. Why? Because it is now cheaper to import heavy-duty equipment, heavy-duty plant, heavy-duty machinery to support our industrialization drive. The city will not stay this way forever.
All right.
This is the time for us to be deliberate. If we want to change the structural phase of the economy, then let's support the importation of heavy-duty plants and machinery that can be used to industrialize the country. I've not seen the government being very deliberate about this aspect in terms of intervention. Maybe we need to do that so that we can benefit from the appreciation of the Ghana cedi.
Dr. Benjamin Amoah, thank you so much for your input this very moment. Grateful speaking to us here on Business Live. You're still watching Business Live. Now, some oil marketing companies have started increasing prices of some petroleum products at the pumps this morning. And we have more for you in this Business Desk report.
Market leader Star Oil has taken the lead by reviewing their prices at the pumps from this morning. Diesel has gone up from 12 Ghana cedis 47 pesos to 12 Ghana cedis 74 pesos. However, Star Oil has kept the price of fuel unchanged, going for 11 Ghana cedis 97 pesos. However, some other service stations across the country are selling it way below this price under its discounted program. The adjustment has been influenced by rising prices of crude oil on the international market, which has affected prices of finished petroleum products that are imported. One is not sure for now whether the action by Star Oil could trigger other oil marketing companies to also move soon to adjust their prices, as many of them haven't moved their values since weekend, when prices should have gone up by more than 4%. Joy Business understands that due to the impact of price on market share and profitability, most of the oil companies are cautious over how they move to adjust prices at the pumps. Some market players have told Joy Business that we could have witnessed a higher than expected price hike if it hadn't been the cedi's recent sharp appreciation against the dollar.
And that's all we have for you by way of Business Live. But you can get stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. There you go on your screens. Ghana's GDP to hit $100 billion by end of 2025. Also on that portal, President Mahama pledges to allow Bank of Ghana operate independently, and he spoke at the Ghana 60 celebration earlier today. And we do have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Always a delight serving you. I am Pius Kojobaka.